Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Awakened Wellness. Marie and myself are just so happy to have you here, and we have a wonderful show for you today, 2 parts as always. But to begin with, we have, I'm hoping, some good feedback from the last 2 shows.
We do.
Awesome.
We do.
Please share.
All right. So someone said to me that this whole thing about awakened wellness and learning to go within and listen to yourself is like learning a new language.
Really?
Yeah. That it's so foreign, it's like learning a new language. And it sat with me and I'm like, for a lot of people, it really is.
Well, you said that, and you said foreign language. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yes, it is foreign to them because
they've never really thought about listening to their body when they do things and all these other ways of how it can talk to you.
Right.
Because we just are so mainstream, beeline, that everything we've been told, we don't let our body talk to us.
That would make total sense, in that we always either run to the doctor or, oh, something's wrong, when it's actually a conversation your body's having with you.
So they feel like they're trying, but it's like learning a new language. So it is difficult, is their point.
Okay.
That it doesn't come easy.
I think that's a legit
I think so
comment.
too. I thought it was a great comment.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of it that way, and when she said it, I was like, wow, that's really a cool way to think about it.
Well, I guess we all have to start in kindergarten.
Yeah, we do. I have a client who's a nurse's aide, and she goes to work daily, and now she's starting to notice more about the patients, and she's asking them questions more about their lifestyles and how they see things and how they've always taken. Yeah, so she's kind of seeing the correlation between how she's aging and how they aged and where they're at, and she's,
Interesting, but also having conversations with them that maybe somebody else hasn't.
Right.
And then at the same time, educating herself.
And she's learning, how lifestyle affects how you age. I mean, she's more from a independent assisted living type thing so she's getting them at all different layers. So she talks to different people.
How nice.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So she's doing her own research, her own homework, which I really like.
Job, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I want people to do, is ask questions, start learning. Don't just take what I say and make it law. Go figure it out. Figure it out.
Go look at 2 sides of everything and decide what's for you.
The more you learn, the less you know, and the more you realize, the more you can learn.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the more you realize it is. So when people say, oh, it's not all about you. Yes, it is. I'd like to throw that monkey wrench into that comment, because here it is all about you.
So I had a new client, and she had done a lot of self-work on herself, and someone else sent her to me, and she immediately came in and said, so-and-so said you're a healer. And I said, I hate that word. Please don't use that word. I said, I'm a facilitator of what you want for yourself and how aware you've become of yourself. So she gets on my table and we go through the whole thing. She goes, I don't care what you say. You're a healer. And And I said to her, again, you have done so much work on yourself. I mean, she beat cancer 4 times. Oh, yeah. And the stuff she knew about her body. So again, if her energy is really strong, it makes me look good. Someone else who's never even delved into self-care and really looked at themselves, I'm not going to get the same results on them. I only facilitate where they're at. So my point in telling this story is I want people to own it. It's yours. Don't make it about me. I'm just here to help you become more.
That's a very interesting story, because I had a couple of friends. One friend does the Rife machines, and the other gal does Reiki, and whatever you want to do. But it's very odd, because they made a similar kind of comment that a client will walk in and fix me. You've got the machine, fix me. And he had said, well, it's really, what are you open to? What are you going, are you able to listen? Are you able to go into your body and allow it to heal, or allow this method, whatever it is?
But that's the new language we're trying to learn, right?
Yeah. Wow, I had that conversation a week ago.
That's the new language we're trying to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they said the same thing. No, that's not my job. I'm facilitating. I like that word, facilitating, but it's what you do with it. Right. I can't do it for you. I can't fix it for you. Right. But I can nudge you along.
Right. And the more people become aware, the more their body changes, the more their life changes, the more their relationships change, everything happens. You know, I had a guy come in yesterday and I was talking to him about something and he says to me, he says, well, you need to ask to see what you need to see. And I go, and I did. And I got some pretty cool answers. He goes, it really works. He goes, I do it all the time. I go, I do too. It really works. He goes, and it surprises me every time. I go, it still surprises me too. Wow. When you just sit with a problem and you have clear intent and you do that 3-minute meditation of asking to see what you need to see, but you're truly open to anything, not just what you want to hear.
Right.
It's amazing where the answers come out of. And it's nothing you could have come up with yourself. So you couldn't have
Right. And if you're actually listening, you'll realize that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But it depends. So I'm still caught on the fence for some things, and I'll hear that other option, and I jump back on the fence.
Yeah.
So I'm working on not jumping back on the fence. So it happens to all of us.
It's being open to all possibilities.
All possibilities, not just yours.
Yes.
I like that.
All right. So today.
Oh, this is an interesting.
It's going to be fun.
BOA.
Body Owners Association. And how this came about, we were talking a little bit, that my husband and I 5 years ago bought into an HOA. And it's a minor HOA. It's very inexpensive. It's only a yearly fee. And there's not a lot of rules, but it's mostly about the common areas and the conservation land and everything else.
Okay.
So the builder's now leaving, and he has to transition it over to the people. And all of a sudden they decided they don't want it. They don't want anything to do with it. They don't want anything they signed on for. And when you sign into an HOA, you are consciously signing that piece of paper saying, I want to live in that neighborhood under those guidelines.
Correct.
Well,
it's a legal document.
They don't care.
The people don't.
They don't care. Not all of them, but some of them.
The ones that are.
Yep. And then if they are going to do it, they want to all change to benefit the individual. So anyway, it's caused a lot of things. But it made me think about, what do we do with our own bodies, right? What did we sign on for, and what are we doing or not doing? So I started to create a Body Owners Association on the same guidelines of the Homeowners Association. And it kind of got fun. So, yeah.
Body Owners Association.
It's dedicated to understanding and maintaining your own body instead of your neighborhood.
And what you sign off on and what you don't.
Right. It's just like a Homeowners Association.
Agree to and what you don't.
So you're looking after your physical body and the well-being of your physical form. So how do you do that? By creating your own association, right?
Okay.
So you first start with community and understanding. What is your body? How does it run? Okay. So what did you sign on for at birth? And where do you want to be when you die? What kind of health profile are you looking for, right? Same as my neighborhood. I wanted my property values to stay. I wanted my neighbors to pick up their trash, whatever it is.
Right.
What do you want to see throughout your lifetime for your body? So you create your organization for that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're responsible for the upkeep, right? And its care, just like your house or your neighborhood. But the only way you can do that is by understanding your body.
Correct.
You can say, I'm going to do it just like a diet, just like I'm going to go exercise, but you don't understand why.
Like that New Year's promise that we don't always follow
Right, because you don't completely understand why. Just like these people didn't understand why they signed that paperwork. They just did it because they wanted a house, because that's the world we live in now, right?
Correct.
You do whatever you can to get a house,
right?
You don't care what you signed on for. Okay, so let's talk about that. By understanding your body, you can make informed decisions to optimize its function and longevity. So the more you understand it, the more you can do it. So first you have to understand how different organs and systems work together.
Okay.
Where most of us don't know that at all. Because if you take the Western model of medicine, the one we know now, it keeps everything in parts.
Correct.
And it's totally segregated. So nothing affects anything.
Nothing works together.
But if you go back to the Eastern philosophy, so let's look at acupuncture. So acupuncture is all about meridians and energy flow. And the belief of acupuncture was to keep the body in balance. So you would go see an acupuncturist when you felt off, and they would help you with their herbs and their acupuncture and whatever they would tell you to do for yourself to bring it back into balance. So there wasn't cancer, there wasn't dementia, there wasn't illness, because you always had your own BOA.
Right.
You paid attention. But over time, we've distorted that. Even in the Eastern philosophy, they're living the American dream.
Correct.
So they're losing touch of that. We're using acupuncture now. We have a problem. We want it to fix it.
Right.
It doesn't fix problems. It brings back balance. So the more you understand the flow of energy through your body, the more you can help your body too.
Because we have to understand that our meridians in our body can have blockages.
Yes.
And so if you think of it as, snaking a drain or a pipe, these different options help open up the flow.
Right.
In a very simple manner.
Right.
Right.
So if you take chiropractic, they have the same philosophy, just a little different.
Okay.
Okay, they stay in the spine.
Correct.
And they believe your nervous system is all through the spine. And all those nerves run out to all your extremities. So if they can keep that spine straight, they can help the body heal by just bringing everything back into an alignment. If the spine's out, then you're going to have issues in all the other organs and systems and
Correct.
muscles and tissue. So people get mad at chiropractors because they want you to come 3 days a week because they're only out for your money. No, because they only stay in the spine. If you're off, they want to try to bring it back as often as they can so your body tries to remember.
Right, so that you get the muscle memory to hold it in the right position and all the different parts.
So if you even understood that, you wouldn't be mad at the chiropractor. You'd go home and say, okay, what do I need to do to keep it in check, working alongside the chiropractor?
Correct.
You would understand
that you have a part in this.
Exactly.
So they're partners in the BOA, in that agreement.
Exactly. So yoga, again. So this is all the different philosophies of how the body heals. So if we put those all together, then we can create our organization.
Right.
But we have to understand that the body has different mechanisms that it can use to heal.
Right.
So let's look at the yogic philosophy.
Okay.
Okay, that again has to do with flow of energy through the body, through
Balance.
the tissue. They do a lot of detoxing of the organs because they believe if the organs are tight and you don't have a lot of space inside your abdominal cavity, that creates disease. The organs can't drain, the tubes get clogged, everything gets backed up, which is actually true. But nobody pays any attention to that, and they just sit for long periods of hours. They don't go walk it off. They don't try to open their abdominal cavity. They don't do visceral massage. All these things you can do to yourself to help your body maintain.
We don't do.
Right. So again, it goes back to what we've learned medicine to be is keeping us in separate parts. We have to learn to bring ourselves back to a holistic view of how everything affects everything.
Well, they did call it the human body. They didn't call it the human parts.
So now that we understand that there's different philosophies on how the body heals and that it's all got to do with it should be a holistic view, a roundabout view. What would you do to create your BOA? Okay, so first you would start to look at understanding how they all work together, and what affects them. Okay, so your organs. What affects your organs? What you eat, right?
Breathe, drink,
exercise,
what type of job you have, your environment.
Toxins you put in yourself,
Correct.
medications, too many herbs, too many supplements, alcohol, all those kinds of things affect your organs.
Sugar, yeah.
Right. So if we want to say, okay, I think my organs are suffering, what's the first thing you do? You don't know. You start taking all these supplements to try to detox. But if you look at all the things you do to maintain, you'll know what they do for your body. So let's start with nutrition, the most basic thing.
Okay.
So what would your nutrition do for you?
What would my nutrition do for me?
If you ate, what was your reasoning for eating? How would it affect your body?
I see what you're saying. So what is my rationale for eating? For nutrition is to keep myself healthy, to keep energy in my body so that it doesn't eat its muscles.
Okay, so it helps with your energy.
Yeah.
What else?
I believe it builds muscle and bones and keeps...
Okay, without the right nutrients, you cannot build a strong body.
Correct.
Okay. And you can't build strong bone.
Right. I believe...
Your skin health is dictated by your nutrition, huge.
Yep. Skin, blood,
yep.
Brain. You need energy. I know you need energy for your body, but you do need a specific kind of energy and nutrient for your brain because that's your computer.
Okay, so how does your body, the science says that our body builds and repairs every 7 years, everything.
Yeah.
So how does it do that?
By proper nutrition.
Okay.
And that
so
includes...
what if you're doing a lot of fad diets? What if you're eating too many calories? What if you're not eating enough calories?
Then you're derailing yourself.
You're not building and repairing properly
You're sabotaging your body doing its 7-year cycle.
Right. So the build and repair, right? Yep. How about stress? Stress will have you consume your body, right?
Stress can...
But nutrition can build you back.
Correct.
After the stress.
But you need to realize that the stress must be
So it's
decreased.
the same thing if the sun wears out the paint around your door casing.
You have to paint it again.
Or it's going to rot out.
Correct.
Right? Mm-hmm. So there's all these ways we should be looking at our bodies on what's breaking it down and how are we going to rebuild it.
Right. And not quick fixes.
Quick fixes don't work.
Correct. That's the fad diet.
Well, what they do is they create more chaos in the body and feed you. Yeah. So nutrition itself
is huge.
I always tell people to start there. If they're having a bad day where they're overstressed, their probably brain focus is off. So how much sugar did you eat? How many carbs did you eat? Did you eat proper balance in your food? Did you skip a meal?
Right.
Did you do too much coffee? There's so many things that can... So if you start there, there's usually a place to find your answers before you have to go elsewhere.
But when you do that, I never liked coffee my whole life. All of a sudden I liked it. Oh, I want a cup of coffee. And then I started listening and sitting back and going, but the coffee doesn't like me. Why do I keep doing this? So you have to listen to yourself when you're going through those little mini tests.
Okay, so what does exercise affect?
So exercise affects your blood pressure, the pumping of your heart, your heart rate. It affects your breathing, your lungs.
Okay.
It affects your muscle strength.
It does.
So that allows you to walk properly.
And your bone density.
Yep. If you don't exercise your bone density as you get older.
Your blood sugars.
Yes.
Yes. Your blood sugar. Your balance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if you're if one side of your body is overworked as opposed to the other, you become overbalanced and then you get compensation.
Your immune system.
Yep.
Your tissue integrity.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when you don't exercise?
You become a slug.
Well, there's a lot of things, that have a negative effect, right?
Correct.
That's the point about if you truly understand that one thing affects the other and everything else works together, because we've been taught so differently, you start to really get a bigger picture on what's going to affect what for yourself.
Well, like you said, exercise, because I think to most people, I'm going to run. My heart's going to be strong. I'm going to have a great cardiovascular. But there's really all those things we just checked off.
But runners can run too much and break down bone and have arthritis in their back. And they get the humps and everything else because they're not eating enough calories and they're running for the endorphins.
So that's where the nutrition piece comes in.
But then some of them run for the health and they do fine. So again, why are you doing these things?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So rest, how does rest affect your BOA?
So rest is essential because your body needs to have that quiet time to repair overnight.
Yes, that's a big one. But what if you don't have the proper nutrition when you go to bed?
Or you eat too late, so your body is busy digesting and not repairing.
There's all these kinds of things. One affects the other all the time, but we just keep saying, no, they don't, but they do.
They do. They're all like this.
They do, right. What else does rest do?
Rest
determines your next day and how your energy flows.
Correct.
Right?
It also allows your brain to, I say, put it in the backpack so that you don't have all that stress and all those things going on so that you can't sleep and you're busy doing that and you ate too late so your body's not healing. So not only does your body repair and reheal, your brain needs to file what happened that day in its proper place so you can have the great next day.
And if you don't rest well, your focus is off and your health starts to dwindle, your stress levels are off.
Your mood is off.
Yeah, your mood is off.
Your emotions
are crazy. You're not eating right or meal prepping, you're giving in to everything. So you're not exercising because you're too tired because you didn't rest.
You just gave up the other two things because you're stressed.
Like I said, it's all connected. Everything is, we are one big organization, all connected. Isn't it crazy?
I love it. It is. When you say that, wow.
I know.
I'm sorry, did you agree to do this? Start having that conversation.
Yeah, you have to start talking to your body. Okay, body. And then mindfulness, that's the last one, right? That's another one. How does that affect us if we don't take time to just
I would say mindfulness, spirituality, it's all encased in there, would have a direct effect on the other topics we just talked about, because if you're not in that right state of mind that you can listen,
there you go.
then all of that goes right out the window.
Yes.
We didn't set this up ahead of time, in a full disclosure. I'm learning right with you guys, so if I can, you can.
All right, so if you want to create your own body organization, owners organization, you don't have to make it complicated. I mean, this was just fun to brainstorm. But define your goals. Again, what do you want your path to look like? And then what do you want for a fitness level, longevity, overall well-being? And then take your specific ailments and see what you have to manage, and see what all these pieces that could be affecting them that you didn't realize.
Correct. That just not taking cookies out of your diet when it really is something in the exercise. I mean, I'm really reaching in that, but one, like you said, could affect the other. That your exercise could affect your mood. That's a better
right.
connection than what I was saying.
And I have a daily check-in on my website. We've talked about that before. It's an ebook that you check in daily, and you ask your body these questions. How did I do today? Were my stress levels out of control? Was my nutrition sound? Did I have time to exercise? What do I need to do to plan for tomorrow?
So explain to those that are new, when you say your ebook, how do they get to your ebook, and what would be a tab or a place?
On my website.
Okay, which is?
marienotig.com.
Okay.
And if you go under my resources, under there's some free ebooks.
Under resources. And the only reason I've been doing an awful lot of Zooms over the past couple of weeks, and we've had some new people come in, and they've said, I don't know where to find that. Right. And we do have a lot of people, older people, that don't use the computer a lot, so I like to throw that out there.
Nope, that's fine.
marienotig, KNOETIG.com, and go to resources, and you'll get your ebooks and tons of other information. Don't be afraid to use it.
So the key is to get to know your body, check in daily, and then try to see which thing affects what, and really start to learn and listen. And what you can do too is, if you don't follow through on an HOA, you can get, fined and all these kinds of things. So you want to find a way to hold yourself accountable. You can do it with a friend.
Yeah.
Right? You can make your own way. Treat yourself at the end of the month if you succeed in really
you did
listening.
every day and checked off the list.
Yeah, and you could make excuses all you want to not do anything. I mean, first of all, you have to want to do it. You have to want to learn. But true health doesn't come from just reading a book. It's about being home and listening, because everything you do affects everything.
And it is, in saying that, I got a picture in my mind of ever-growing circles, concentric circles, with what you do affects so much. And it just the energy goes out, or the energy just stays there and nothing happens.
Right.
So you do need to be very conscious of that. Wow, I really like that idea.
It was just fun.
It is
Like I
fun.
said, it was causing me a lot of stress, the whole situation. So I said, what can I do to have fun with it? And I just kept seeing how it compares to how we look at our health and wellness. People don't want what they don't want, so they're going to find a way to manipulate it so they don't have to. And that's what we do with our health. And watching the news lately, the median age for nursing right now in New Hampshire is 45, and there's nobody going into nursing, and the hospitals are packed because nobody's caring for themselves. The diabetes is off the hook, the heart disease, the obesity.
And I think there's value as well as, don't just scroll by some of these things that might seem ridiculous. Oh, GMAs and GMOs and this and this and this. Everything's got two sides. You've always told me that. There's two sides to every story. We all know there is.
To every story.
And so, I think the most impactful thing that you've said to me lately is, we were talking about fruits and vegetables, and I said, oh yeah, you can get them in capsules and gummies. And you said to me, yeah, but your body isn't digesting it properly and using the enzymes and the proper what was the word you used? The system is not working correctly. You need to eat and chew those vegetables. You need to eat them seasonally.
It creates an enzyme that creates digestive enzymes.
And that has really stuck with me. And the
broccoli actually creates enzymes in your gut because it's a live product. Yeah.
And your gut is very important to so much, and we don't want to forget that.
The gut is huge. Yeah, so the more you take antacids so you can eat what you can eat, you're stunting all that stuff for your health.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, if you need it because you have severe reflux, I say take them. But if you're doing it so you can eat something so you don't get reflux, that's a problem.
Yeah. I thought that has impacted me the most. And just looking at labels, watching TikToks and Facebooks. Full disclosure, I've never seen anything bad on TikTok. I get incredible information that sends me down other
you're
rabbit
just on the wrong
paths.
pages.
People are on the wrong pages. I'm on the good ones. So, but sourcing your food,
Yep.
it's not that hard.
No.
Watch what you're eating. Just read what it is. Make sure there's not junk
Meat,
in it.
potato, vegetable. Stick to
Keep
your
it simple.
basic food groups, and less processed is better.
I like it.
Yeah. So I have, my website is up and going now. It's awakenwellness.life.
Oh, .life. Okay.
.life. I had to change it one more time. So it's awakenwellness.life. That will be on all my shows from here on in.
Okay.
I'll put them when I post it. And any questions is info.awakenwellness@gmail.com. So everything's officially Awaken Wellness now. We're moving
Perfect.
forward.
So it's all in alignment.
I created a community. So it's going to be slow and going, but you can get in it now and you can start getting some challenges to do for yourself. It's free, but you just have to sign in to join because I want to keep it a little bit private.
Correct.
Yeah. And then, so there's some meditations on there. There's some other things, and I'll keep building it as we go.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This was a fun show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining Marie and I, and we hope you have an absolutely fabulous day and set up that BOA.
Body Owners Association.
Owners Association. I kept having awareness come in. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next show.